Hello, people, and welcome to Footy Judge More. Lots of people have been talking lately about our Arsenal in a title race. Is this just be a crisis that is happening now, and they're gonna come back to their best that we have seen last season from Arsenal in the second half of the season when they pushed City all the way until the final game of the season? Of course, a lot of people are hopeful. A lot of people are doubting Arsenal, but also lots of people are still backing Arsenal to be in that race. Some people are just panicking, and some people are saying the squad is not good. And also, there is the talk that they aren't even worried about Liverpool, and they're going to finish ahead of Liverpool, even though Arsenal are 7 points behind Liverpool now after 10 games played, which Arsenal go to Stamford Bridge in the next weekend, and Liverpool play Aston Villa home. They can find themselves 9 or 10 points behind Liverpool in the next game. City have not been at their best, but they are still 5 points ahead of Arsenal. City play Brighton away next game. We don't know how this game goes, of course, but City have a lot of injuries, of course, with Kevin De Bruyne still out, Rodri still out. But let's hear what people say. Gary Neville spoke about it. Bavs is speaking up. Mark Goldbridge is speaking about the Arsenal squad and the expectations. Let's hear what Gary Neville said about the Arsenal injuries and all the stuff and everything that Arsenal have been going through and how he sees this Arsenal team. Let's listen together.
Just feeling a little bit sorry for themselves that they've got a few injuries. We're not interested. Come on, you're going to win the league title. This is where you become a hero. It's where you become Arsenal legends. No one's interested in whether you've basically got a few injuries for a part of the season. Those players will come back. Don't wait for them. So, yeah, they've had some tough games. I get that. You know, going to Newcastle's tough. I sort of thought they scored a great goal, Newcastle. But Arsenal, at this moment in time, there are big questions being asked, but I don't rule them out of winning the title. I still have them winning the title, and this might be what they need to win the title. There is an element.
What he just said, that he can't rule them out of the title race, I get it, right? I get people are so hesitant about saying that Arsenal are out of the title race. However, to still tip Arsenal to win the Premier League at this moment, I think it's something that it's hope. Gary Neville is hoping that Liverpool don't win the title, being a Manchester United fan. And also he's hoping that Man City don't win the title. But if you are sitting here now and you are thinking that Arsenal are still going to win the Premier League, I think their percentage wins way below, because last season, as I mentioned before, at this stage, yes, Arsenal were a little bit slow. Yes, Arsenal were a little bit poor or boring, as you want to say, but they were still racking up points. Arsenal have struggled this season, offensively and also defensively. This season, they have conceded more goals than what they conceded at this stage of last season. I'm looking at this, and I'm like, Gary, I think you got it wrong. I think you have to admit, and let's listen to what he said at the end.
Most connected to a title race, and I always think about what a team needs to go through to win a title. And sometimes, you know, City aren't quite right, Liverpool aren't perfect. You sometimes just need this little bit of a serious blip, really. It's been a poor start for them, really, in terms of where you would have expected them to be. But they could go on a run. They could get their players back post-international break, go on a run, and they could be very dangerous towards, you know, hit your form March, April, May. That's when you really want to be flying.
He's absolutely right, though. Like, I don't think he's wrong. Arsenal have easier fixtures coming up. They have a lot of easier fixtures that they can win coming up. However, I don't see the signs myself that Arsenal will turn it around. In my opinion, this season, Arsenal have not found the rhythm, have not found a way to control games, have not found a way to impose their will on games. And if I'm basing it based on last season, in the second half of the season, when Arsenal were absolutely fantastic and amazing, that's why in the beginning of the season, I said Arsenal can win the Premier League. And actually, I tipped them to be equal to Man City to win the Premier League. However, I don't see the signs that Arsenal will turn it around to a point that they will have a run against City or Liverpool, that other teams as well, they won't go on a run. I would tip City more to turn it around, and maybe by February, March, City will go on a 20 games run. Do I see Arsenal doing it? It's hard for me to see it now. It is absolutely hard for me to see. Let's hear what Bavs said as well about Liverpool in this title race.
even though Liverpool are top of the league right now, what, 7 points clear of us, I still see City as our biggest threat because Liverpool, for me, are still unknown in the real big games just yet. They played against Chelsea and they won that game fair. Against Arsenal, I think they kind of got away with it a little bit because, you know, Arsenal had quite a few key players missing, and you know, Gabriel going off as well. You end the game with a back four of Miles Lewis-Skelly, 17, Partey at right back, Ben White and Kivior. And you made how many chances in that game towards the end? Like, people kind of like put it to one side because it was Arsenal at home. They should have won that game there. Even though Liverpool are top of the league.
I'm going to say this about this. Yes, there was circumstances. Yes, there was context when Arsenal drew the game against Liverpool or drew the game against Brighton, drew the game against City. However, I still didn't think that Arsenal were convincing on the majority of the game. Liverpool, they had a great start to the game where they pressed Liverpool. They were absolutely on top at the Emirates, which is expected from Arsenal. If you want to win the Premier League, it is expected from you to go on and go and dominate and be in the team that has the upper hand against Liverpool. But I'm looking at it, I'm like, against Bournemouth, you weren't the best team on the pitch, even before the red card of Saliba. Against Brighton, yes, you were 1-0 up, but it wasn't full-on conclusion that Arsenal win the game. Would they have won the game against Brighton if Declan Rice wasn't sent off? Maybe. But at the end, nobody will remember this, right? And I'm still, again, I'm going to repeat this again. For people to say that Liverpool aren't a threat, I think it's just I don't think it's realistic for anyone to sit here and say that Liverpool aren't a threat. 7 points ahead. Amazing run and a very good results coming Liverpool's way. 10 games, throwing 1 game against Arsenal away from home, losing against Forest, which is a blip in my opinion, and winning the rest of the games is something that is not easy, to be honest with you. So for me, I can't count Liverpool. I said that many times. I'm not going to count Liverpool out until they're out. The reason why is very simple. It's Van Dijk, it's Mohamed Salah, Trent is there. He has had improved massively defensively this season. Arne Slot looks like a manager that can change things. And also, one question I want to ask you is, and make sure to like the video. If you're here, make sure to hit that like button, people. Like button is very important for the channel. Do you think Liverpool will do a Spurs and fall off like what Spurs did after 10 games last season? I don't see it happening. I don't see that in Arne Slot. I don't see this in Liverpool, to be honest. Let me hear what Mark Gorbich spoke about in this Arsenal team and talking about what he thinks the Arsenal squad and what Arteta's situation and all this stuff.
Arsenal, they lost at the weekend. They are out of the title race. But I also repeat what I said on Friday. I think there is an overreaction around Arsenal. Their squad is not as good as Liverpool. It's certainly not as good as Man City. Arsenal is still a work in progress. And I saw some people at the weekend saying, Arteta, and I'm like, there was one comment that really I wanted to bring in, and it was basically like, Arteta's taken us as far as he can. It's time for him to go. Well, that would mean you believe someone's going to make you win the league because he's took you to second twice. I don't look at Arsenal and go, if they got rid of Arteta and brought him in, they'd win the league. I don't think that that's a title-winning team. I think he's over-exceeded over the last 2 years, and it's about what happens over the next 2 years, whether they drop off or whether they can maintain that growth that they've shown, because there's a juggernaut in town and it's not Arsenal.
To be honest with you, to talk about this from Arsenal squad and Arteta achieving or overachieving and all this talk, I think Arteta has developed a lot of players. The Sakas, Havertz has improved, Saliba, Gabriel, Ben White, David Raya, even Ramsdale before he left. But also at the same time, there has to be a threshold here for a big club to have any manager. And I hold this to every single team, every single big club, to have a manager, no matter what the circumstances are, 4.5 seasons or 5 seasons without winning the Premier League or the Champions League, you should not consider yourself a big club. If you aren't going to win a major trophy, which is I consider the Premier League or the Champions League, in 5 years tenure. Yes, he cleared the squad from the Aubameyangs and the Lacazettes and every other player that was there. But at the same time, there has to be a point where they say, maybe we should try something else. Because how bad can it get? If they go and try to fork money for a big manager, if they go in the summer and get an Inzaghi from Inter, or they go and get Alonso, maybe they can take them a step further. Maybe he can have better identity. Because this season I'm looking at them and they're kind of lacking of identity this season, Arteta's team, and it's opposing to the end of last season. Again, I'm not saying that they should sack Arteta or anything. He has done a fantastic and an amazing job, but there has to be a threshold to how many years are we going to stay with Arteta? Do we consider ourselves a team that should win a Premier League or a Champions League? I believe all Arsenal fans believe that. So for me, I think there has to be a threshold. And it's not only about the progress or not progress. Yes, he has progressed with the team. But at some point, you have to stop and ask yourself, how many years? And it's opposing to what he's saying. There are other fans that say that this Arsenal team is one of the best in the world. And let's hear what in this video, let's hear what this guy says.
There can be any Declan Rice slander. He's been playing in the 6 as well, been less creative going forward. A fully fit Arsenal team, and I say this with chest, Arsenal's 11, best 11 on paper, beats any 11 in the world. I think Arsenal's starting 11 is fantastic. I think Mikel Arteta has developed a team there that can go out and beat anybody if they can consistently stay together. It just doesn't work like that, and therefore it might crumble. We will see. There can be.
So for me, to be honest with you, to speak about what this guy said, this notion that Arsenal starting 11 can beat anyone, anybody can beat anyone. Are Arsenal the strongest team in the world? Are Arsenal starting 11, everyone fit, can beat anyone in the world? If Kevin De Bruyne is back, Foden, if Rodri is fit, is Arsenal team actually better than Manchester City team? Starting 11, player for player? Maybe not. Maybe they're good. Are Arsenal better than Real Madrid? Are Arsenal starting 11 better than Liverpool starting 11 with a Van Dijk and a Salah and a Jota fit? I don't think so. They're a very, very good team. But this notion that if everyone is fit, injuries happen in football. Injuries happen in football. And people have to start realizing this, in my opinion, that injuries happen. And managers adapt. Managers adapt and change. I'm going to give you a simple example. Inter, in the year that Inter reached the Champions League final, we had our main DM, Brozovic, injured. And we adapted by having Hakan Çalhanoğlu dropping the DM. In the Premier League, look at Ryan Gravenberch adapting. Because Liverpool don't have a DM. It's not because of the injuries, though, but it's because of the transfer market. Arsenal should adapt. Arsenal might not have their starting 11 ever fit together this season. You don't know, Abid. That's why you build a football team. You build a squad. You build a squad. It's a lot of ifs there from my friend here. But to be honest with you, just to finalize this, Arsenal realistically aren't out of the title race. It's too early to say that. However, I believe it's a mountain to climb from Arsenal now to catch up to Liverpool and Manchester City. They need to go on a massive run. If Arsenal are to get 90 plus points, they can only drop 12 points in 28 games. That means you can only drop points in like 6 games if you draw the 6 games, or you can only lose 2 games and lose 4 games. They still go to Anfield. They're going to go to Stamford Bridge next weekend. It's an uphill battle. And I think Arteta can only blame himself, or maybe blame the board for not signing him a forward line player, because apparently Sterling is not good enough for him. Let me know what you guys think in the comments about what I'm saying. Let me know if you agree with me or you disagree with someone. Hit the like button if you're still here, and we'll see you guys soon. Thank you for everybody watching. Turn on the notification bell and check out our live streams later.